Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well tonight. Thanks for joining us for this webinar. I'm super excited to be here with all of you to talk about how to land your dream job. Whether you're starting your career or if you're looking to make a change, we're going to go through some really great tips to help you with that. To give you a clear view of today's scope, okay, I'll start today's webinar by explaining who we are and what we do here at BairesDev, and then we'll be diving into a few tips regarding tonight's main topic. So by the end of the session, you will have a better understanding of the strategies and techniques needed to position yourself as a great candidate for your dream job. Well, we hope we can help you show your skills, leverage your experience, and of course, leave a lasting impression on potential employers. And just before we start, I want this to be a very interactive experience. So don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions, share your own experiences, use the chat box. I've set aside some time at the end for a quick Q&A session. So I'll do my best to address as many of your questions as possible. So again, before we move on, I'd like to introduce myself, of course. My name is Beatriz, but everyone here at BairesDev calls me B or Bia, and I'm from Belo Horizonte, Brazil. I know that we may have attendees from all over the globe, so please drop a comment for us saying which city, which country are you from. I'm going to wait for some of those comments to pop up because we are live. There's a little delay here, but I've been part of BairesDev for almost 2 years now, and I'm currently working as an employer brand analyst. And we have another extra special guest tonight who will join us later. Felipe is the director of the Talent Acquisition Competence Center here at BairesDev, and he has a lot of experience in talent profiling and matching candidates with their dream jobs. Okay, so let's meet him later. For those who don't know much about BairesDev, let me give you a quick introduction about the company. BairesDev is a young, dynamic, and flexible company founded in 2009 by Paul Azorin and Nacho DeMarco. And ever since the day we started, we worked hard to offer an exciting environment where high-performing tech professionals can display their talents, share their knowledge. We are experts in delivering technology solutions, and since we are a remote-first company, we have the unique ability to bring together high-performing professionals from all over the world, breaking down geographical barriers and always creating truly diverse teams to support our clients' needs with excellence. And all of that while being recognized and trusted for employing the most talented professionals in the IT market. Well, with this goal of harnessing the top talent, we knew that it wouldn't be possible to concentrate these talents in a single city, even a single country. So we've been working 100% remotely ever since day one. It's in our DNA. And we believe that talent does not discriminate. We currently have the best tech talent working from over 600 different cities in more than 40 countries. Well, by working with and recruiting people from around the world, we had the opportunity to learn a lot about very different profiles, very different openings, and how to match them. And I started by BairesDev in a recruiting role, so I believe we know one thing or two here about landing your dream job. That being said, I would like to invite Felipe to join us. Let's just wait until he's here. Yeah, I think he's here now. Hey, Felipe, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I would like to start, Felipe, just shooting a question right at you, okay? Would you mind sharing some highlights from your career journey and how you landed your dream job?
Thanks for the introduction, Bea. Well, I joined BairesDev in May 2021, a bit over 2 years ago. It's an interesting story because my entire career has been dedicated to business management and mostly finance. And this was also how I entered BairesDev. I started in BairesDev as a finance director. Eventually, I got to working with the talent acquisition team. We got along. We started working with very interesting projects. So I moved to the team officially in the beginning of last year, and then started working directly with assessments, talent profiling, until we finally decided to merge some other teams that were working on different initiatives in profiling, assessment, and other talent acquisition initiatives. And we created the Competence Center, which is the position that I'm currently in, which is the Director of Talent Acquisition Competence Center. And that's basically a group of teams that support the talent acquisition operations team as a whole.
Amazing. Yeah, like, I mean, you mentioned that your background is like finance all the way, and you now are in a talent acquisition opening. And this is something really fun about BairesDev, because I met a lot of different people with different backgrounds here that are not really working on what they used to work before. I mean, I have a master's in cinema. I'm not working in cinema anymore. I'm working also in talent acquisition. So it's great to know that you all also came from this different place. I mean, talking about finding your dream job, I believe it's super important to understand your skills and what you're passionate about. Because even during challenging situations, I believe that work will be easier, will be cooler if you're having fun, or if you're doing tasks and things that you're interested in, and like something you like, you know. And I believe, like, to find a dream job, it's essential to explore your interests, to identify your values, your own purpose. And for me, what helps is asking questions like, what drives you? What do you enjoy doing? What do you expect from your career in a few years? What do I want, you know, to do in my free time? How can my career contribute to that? And I think it's important to address that here, because people must consider work life balance and growth opportunities when thinking about their dream jobs. To me, personally, a dream job is a dream where you're happy and fulfilled, and you should have a great life because of your job, among other things, but not despite of it, you know. Um, would you like to share any extra advice on that, Feli? Like, what else people should know to understand if a job is the certain job, like it's the right job for them?
That's great insight, and that's a great background history that you have as well. Knowing yourself is of course the key to working in something that you like, but it's also important to understand the company, the job description. So even before applying, you should ask yourself, do I like something about this company? What do I know about this company? What do I like about this company, if I know anything about it? And what values do I share with them? How is this opening aligned with my interests? Having a clear understanding of your own desires and aspirations is how you'll be able to actually align them with your dream job. So I think that's the main message that you need to understand is finding the
Yeah.
dream job is not only about what you're going to do, but also where you're going to do it.
Yeah. And since you said like understanding the opening and the company, I know that people who are watching us might be asking, what are we looking for on the company side? And I mean, it could be specific skills, qualifications, or any experience related to the job. And but everything is usually listed on the job description. But one thing that I believe is that finding the right job and being the perfect match for that opening is not about ticking all the boxes, you know. I mean, in my recruiting experience, I understood that companies also evaluate your and assess your overall fit for the role and for the company culture, because we need to understand if a candidate has the ability to work in a team, how the candidate aligns with our own values. Um, but of course, that's the whole other story. If we are diving deeper into how companies actually match the candidates with the job openings, I know that nowadays, and this is something that I've seen all over social media on LinkedIn, like the AI screenings. I know that many companies use AI tools to go through the applications and identify the potential matches based on the criteria that all of the criteria that I discussed earlier, because those tools are an efficient and accurate way to review a lot of applications really fast. And just to like give an idea, at BairesDev we have like an extensive number of new applicants per month. So those tools really help us. They can scan resumes and extract key information like work experience, skills, education, qualifications, and also compare the candidates' resumes against specific job requirements and some qualifications that the hire managers have set for that opening. Uh, But I mean, you're the expert here in profiling, Felice, so I would like to hear your insights on that, because I know some people want to know what candidates can do to stand out and increase their chances of matching with the right job opening.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a little bit of everything actually. AI screenings, they help a lot, of course, and there are lots of things that a person can do to increase their chances. We should always remember that when you're applying, usually companies have their own ATSs or their own portals where you can fill out information. That will definitely be better than some AI tool screening your resume, because that will help the company really focus on the information that they need. It's what we do here at BairesDev. If you go to the website, we have the AI tools, we scan the resumes, but we also ask a few specific questions regarding your profile, what you know, and your experience, and so on, to help us match that's the skills that you have faster. And the hiring process here at BairesDev is very focused on competencies rather than a specific skill set, technology, or stack. When we're reviewing resumes and the list of candidates, of course, we are looking for people who tick the boxes, as you said, Bea, but the professional and academic history is really what tells us the whole story. So the applicant resume must be very clear on what they know and what they don't know. And there's no better way to do that than describing your experience with that specific particular subject or that particular theme, technology, and preferably using real examples or projects that they have worked on. Even if it was a hobby, if it's something that you created and not directly worked with, but you created as a hobby to showcase to someone, or as an academic study, doesn't really matter. You want to see if people are able to do what they say that they know that they say they know. And resumes should summarize and highlight your top areas of knowledge. So always remember to showcase the soft skills as well. That's very important. People usually focus on, I know a specific tech, I know a specific stack, I did this or I did that. But soft skills really matter, and that's how you get into interviews, for instance, and that's why interviews are always very important as well. And the ability to learn, work with new things. This is a constantly changing world. So a well-built resume will show that you have the skills to the employer.
Yeah, and as you said, one thing that I would like to add, like again, with the soft skills, it's the same thing. It's not enough to just list them there. Okay, so let's say about adaptability skills, which is a must go nowadays. If you like give examples of projects and experiences that require that, it's much easier for us to understand that than just saying soft skills, adaptability. I mean, there's also a few other things to consider when navigating those screening tools. First, I know this sounds like a bummer to some people, but you need to customize the resume to match the desired job requirements. So you review the job description and you incorporate relevant skills and keywords to your resume, because those AI tools will analyze keywords, phrases. So it's crucial to tailor your application to align uh, those skills and your resume to the job description. I mean, it might be useful to use industry related jargon and highlight every significant achievements. I mean, I saw a comment there saying how to show soft skills on a resume. I know it's those things are easier to show on an interview when you explain about a process or a situation you lived. But if you say like, I had to manage a team and do this and that, and I mean, if you show your achievements, any significant achievements and results of your work on your resume, people will understand that it is because of skills you have. Because let's say to be a leader in a leading position, you need to have good communication skills, because you need to communicate with your team. You need to be organized. So if you're showing results, that will showcase better than just saying the words there. Go ahead, Feli.
Yeah. If I can add something, when you mention adaptability, how do you show adaptability on a resume? For instance, someone that worked in finance and during the middle of their career or during the middle of their work, they shifted to talent acquisition. That's a
Let's say
way of
someone, a
understanding that.
hypothetical person.
Exactly. We don't know who that is, but that's an example of a really of adaptability, and probably it shows that it works because that person has been on both positions for a very long time, and it's a shift in your career, and you did let's say, it shows that you did well, or at least you're showing that you did well.
Yeah. And as I say, like, I mean, show the skills that are relevant to that opening. Again, if you tailor your application to to fewer openings, you probably have better results than sending the same generic resume to 1,000 openings, just because it is exactly what like matches the job description. And another thing that we should consider here is that the formatting of the resume, because those AI algorithms, they often struggle to read, if I can say that, complex or unconventional resume layouts. Like if you have a very like thing with a lot of images, a lot of columns, a lot of sections, a lot of different elements, that might be hard for an AI tool to read. So that being said, a clean standard format with very defined sections is the way to go. And if you need to organize information, maybe use bullet points, because that will help also emphasize key like points and ensure the readability, you know. And one final thing is syntax and grammar errors. I know like no one's perfect, but AI tools won't understand things if they are not written properly. You know, we have a lot of tools to just check those things, spelling and grammar. And another thing is that those errors don't look good on human screenings either, because when like we have a recruiter reading a resume and there's a lot of grammar mistakes there, I mean, especially if we're talking about a role that needs communication or writing skills, that might be a bummer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Bia. And I mean, since we're talking about screenings, it's important to add that human screening is a crucial step in this process. Companies rely on human judgment. That's the truth. AI screening helps us. It reviews candidates faster. It stacks them. It groups them. It shows who are the potential good fits. But it's always good to remember AI does not and should never disqualify a person. It's not a process that has a disqualifying nature. It just helps you sort out through the mess, but it doesn't mean that whoever doesn't get selected by AI in a way or prioritized by AI will not be considered for the process. But it's definitely faster to find these people because they show up first. And hiring managers and recruiters have the final decision, not the AI tools. I'd like to reinforce that.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate the power of a well-crafted cover letter or a thoughtfully written email expressing your interest in the company. These are personal touches. You know, they can make you stand out in the crowd, and they can make, even though the AI will select 100 applicants or 100 resumes or whatever for a position, people who give show their interest and give the human touch show that they want to make a difference, and that makes a difference for the company.
Yeah. And since we're talking about those personal touches and everything and the human touch on the recruiting process, I mean, as the application process progresses, the interviews will become a crucial step in landing your dream job. And I know that's the part where most people struggle a lot with. And I mean, I'm gonna be a little like repetitive here, but it's important to showcase your technical skills, but also your personality, how you work. Again, to how to show this on your resume and on your interviews. Include action words, include metrics, measurable achievements. All of that is super important for the company to understand the value you can bring to that company. The results of your work that will demonstrate the impact you had in previous roles and also improve your visibility. And in addition, a candidate can consider incorporating relevant industry-specific skills or knowledge to boost their chances. And as Felice said, like the world is constantly changing. So if you show that you're always keeping up to date, if you're always studying and learning and trying to like grow, that also speaks volumes in an interview. And in the interview, everyone gets super nervous. I know it's normal. But this step is just to know you better and to increase the chances of matching you with the ideal opening. As Felice said, the AI should not disqualify you. And then we go to the interview and try to know you better, like things that AI cannot do, just so we can match you with an opening that's good. And that's why it's important to never lie in an interview. Let's say if you're an introvert or an extrovert, we can consider that for the openings. And if you hate numbers, or if you're good with data, if you like repetitive tasks, or if you get bored easier, those things will make a difference, like for us to know, so we can match you with an opening and a job that will be a perfect match for you, you know. I always say that there are openings for all sorts of people, so be true to yourself, and this will help us understand you better and fit you in.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly, Bea. The interview is the time for us to confirm everything that we gathered from the profile, that we understood, and even dig deeper into things that we need to understand, that we need to put together to place the candidate in the best openings that match their profile. You know, when people go through an assessment, that's a very interesting thing that you said, that don't lie in interviews and things like that. So when people go through an assessment, and we know that BairesDev's process is full of assessments. That's the area that I work on, and that I've been trying to perfect. They often think that they need to get all the questions right, no matter what, or say what they think the interviewer wants to hear. But that it's the exact opposite if you think about it. You shouldn't try to cheat the process or try to fit the process that the person wants. The tests are meant to support the screening process and support the hiring process and showcase what you're good at, but also what you're not good at. And that's okay. I mean, not everybody's going to be good at everything. You're not going to be perfect in everything in every test. It's even going to be weird if you score well in all of the tests and tests that have nothing to do with each other. So this is important because this is what guarantees that we will match people with the right position, as you said. And that's what we're talking about here: finding the dream job, finding the ideal dream job, and not finding a job for you to fulfill. I remember that this happened to me as well, and I had a funny process. I said I came from finance, and then I went to talent acquisition, and I went through the BairesDev portal in the beginning. And I remember that during this process, for some reason, I saw and I accidentally took a backend coding challenge. So I scored very bad because I don't know how to code. I know very basic stuff about coding. I know SQL and all that stuff, but I don't really know how to code. And there could be a way to, use external help, ask a colleague, use
Chat
platforms. And
GPT.
ChatGPT wasn't available at the time, but yeah,
Oh yeah.
nowadays people would use ChatGPT, of course. And with some kind of help, I would be able to score well, probably. But that would what would happen? BairesDev would probably use that information to see, oh, here's a person who knows finance, a person who knows how to code. And I don't know, maybe in that particular moment, we had openings for uh, uh, a software developer in the banking industry. And they would say, oh, it's good that a person knows this industry. They're from finance and they also know how to code. So they would probably, BairesDev at that moment, I'm saying they because I wasn't a part of BairesDev back then, but BairesDev could say, hey, let's try to fit Felipe with this position here as a software engineer in the finance industry. And then they would put me on a track of a software engineer because I placed myself as a software engineer because I saw that test and let's say that I wanted to take it. And it would hurt me in the end because at the same time, I wouldn't probably be considered for the position that I was considered for, which was in the finance team. So I would probably miss that opportunity simply because I saw a test and I wanted to score well on that test regardless and no matter what. So it's really important to reinforce that. I mean, scoring bad or scoring well on a test doesn't mean that you're either good or bad as a candidate or as a person or as a worker. It means that you don't possess that set of skills and that's okay. Or it means that you possess that set of skills and that's okay as well. Because, you're not going to hire a senior software developer for a junior position, probably, and you're not going to hire the other way around. So it's important to know that. And if you're working with a junior developer, put them on the track of learning, have several learning paths inside BairesDev, and we'll try to help people evolve and learn. So, you hire a semi-senior and they can get to senior on the right path. So I always like to reinforce that very much. And, we had a lot of people who applied for a job, but ended up being selected for a different one because from the assessments, from the interviews, we eventually found better matches for them.
Yeah, I have something to add about this. Actually, it happened to me. I applied for a recruiting role, and I had the first interview. I did not move through. But one thing that I liked about the process is that they, like BairesDev, found another opening that matched my profile, and which I'm really grateful, because I believe it matched my skill set a lot better. And I ended up being placed in a team that works at the time that worked with internal, external events in the company, a lot of communication skills required. I mean, my communication background paid off here. And I mean, I am really glad it happened because I get bored easily if I'm doing the same exact thing over and over and over throughout 8 hours a day. And I mean, doing for the first role I applied, that would be my regular schedule, and now it's a different schedule. Like I have different projects and different things to work all the time, so I like it much more. I mean, it will be different for everyone. Some people might prefer the more repetitive, more controlled type of job opening. Not my case. But yeah, that's a good thing. Like if you did not move forward in for one specific opening, or if you haven't, like we haven't found the perfect match for you here at BairesDev, BairesDev would still consider you for all of the other openings until we find something that matches your profile.
Sorry, I wanted to add something here, Bea, as well. It's just,
Yep.
it's funny because I didn't say this before, but I'm also from Belo Horizonte, which is a big coincidence because, BairesDev has people all over the world, and we're both here from the same city. And we have similar backgrounds in BairesDev as well,
Yep.
in the process that we took. And the same thing happened to me, actually. The first position that I applied for, I was rejected for it. And I thought, well, it happens, tough luck. What are you going to do? After some time, they called me again, and they said, do you want to participate for another opening? Oh, yeah, that's the thing. When I got rejected, they said, we're going to consider you for other openings. We liked you very much. And I thought, well, this is just basic
BS.
recruiter talk. They just want to keep the lead warm. So I didn't really take it very seriously, but okay, it was there. And after some time, they called me to participate in a second process. And I said, well, it was real. What they said was real. And I participated in the second process, and I wasn't hired for that process either. And at that moment, I thought, well, now it's gone. Now nothing's going to happen anymore. And, after this first time was, I think, May 2020 or June 2020. The second time was roughly, I don't know, November or December 2020. And then in February or March 2021, they reached out again. And they said, do you want to participate again?
Oh,
I
great.
said, sure, why not? And, I went through the entire process. I went through the interviews and eventually got here.
Yeah, this, like the whole time frame for the processes is something people ask us a lot during those events, because some processes might take longer, but that's because we're trying to find the best opening for everyone. Like in my case was a lot faster than yours, but I understand that some people might be like working through different requirements, different openings, and we're trying to find the best match. I'm glad they found the best match for both me and you. I would like to end the whole presentation by that, Fili, but I would also like to, I know people have a lot of questions, so let's run a quick Q&A session. I know we are past 2 minutes from our original time frame here, but let's just answer one or two, just because I believe people have questions here. But before that, while we are waiting for the questions, please send them on the chat, okay, or comments. I must say that we have a link on the description of this YouTube stream and the LinkedIn event. And in this link, you can have access. You can also access it through the QR code you're seeing on your screen. And through this link, you have access to our social media pages, our jobs portal. In this jobs portal, you can check all of our openings. You have access to the applicant site, which is where you can update your profile, do your online tests, check the status of your application. And also the applicant site has a live chat support tool. So if you have any questions regarding your application, you can contact us through there. And you can also access our website, our referrals program webpage. And last but not least, okay, people who see me in a lot of those webinars are making fun of me because of that at this point. But there's a survey link, and we would really appreciate if you could take the survey to rate this webinar. It takes less than 5 minutes to complete the survey, and that would help us host even better editions in the future. So if you like go there and say, I want to hear more tips about the BairesDev hiring process, we can go there and talk about it. I want to hear more about diversity in tech, we can go and talk about it. So go there, share your insights, rate this webinar. And I believe with that, um, we can start the Q&A session. Let me see if we have any questions here. I see one. Okay, what if my resume matches with two different roles? Should I apply to both? I mean, yeah, definitely. You can apply to as many openings as you like. As Feli said, you should really consider what you want in your career, so you don't just find a job, but the job. But of course, if you find, we know that we have people like they are very skilled in very different areas. So definitely apply for as many openings as you like. And of course, if you don't move forward in one, as Feli said, we'll be considering you for further openings, future openings too. Let me see, Feli, I don't know if you see any questions here. Let me see. Okay, are your openings specific to a location? I see they usually indicate a country. Okay, so here's the thing. We use a lot of different job boards, like we use LinkedIn, we use a lot of different websites to promote our openings. And some of those tools will only deliver uh, the job posting to people who are in that specific location. So of course, some of our openings say a location, but all of our openings are 100% remote. You can work from anywhere you want. So don't worry about the location. Even if you don't fit that specific location, you can apply to any BairesDev job.
Yeah, but I found a question here as well.
Here, okay.
They asked, how can an applicant speed up the hiring process? I think the easiest way to speed up the hiring process is make the recruiter's life easier. So what does that mean? Fill out all the information that we require, complete the tests that are assigned to you, send information that's required, keep your profile updated. That's very, very important, because that's what's going to make it easier for the recruiter to go through your profile, understand that you're a good fit or a bad fit, and help make a final decision on that process.
Yeah, and I would like to add two things there, Feli. Um, Back when I was working in recruiting, reviewing candidates' profiles, there were a lot of candidates who had their profiles but did not have an updated contact info, not an updated email or phone number. I could not reach them. So keep all the information updated just so we can reach to you or reach out to you in case we want to, and we find an opening for you. And another thing, as Feli said, sometimes based on the skills and the things that the algorithm or the recruiter understood from your profile, you might have been assigned a task that it's not really related to something you want to do. You can go both ways. As Feli said, he could take the task even though he knows nothing about programming and score bad, and we would only understand that this is not the opening for you but another one. But you can also, if you have any questions like, should I be really doing this test? Let's say you applied for a marketing position and for some reason there's a coding task for you there. If you think you don't fit that task, you can always reach out to our live chat support to ask if that task is really necessary. And if the test is mandatory, they will inform you. But as Feli said, having everything they're updated and having all the tasks done is the best way to get an interview.
True, that's true.
And okay, let me see. Okay, people are asking if BairesDev provides the equipment to work. And yes, we are going to provide all the hardware and software that you're going to need to do your tasks. So don't worry if you don't have the best computer, the best headset. We're going to send everything you need to perform your tasks here. And I believe we only have time for one more question at max, just because we already went way beyond what we expected. Let me see here if I can find any.
That's probably my fault. Sorry, I talked a little bit too much.
Oh no,
Got
I love
excited.
this. I love this. It's always good to have a nice chat with a guest here in this webinar. Let me see. Okay, I see questions about the English level. Again, as I said, we have openings for a lot of different requirements, and that also applies to English. So we have openings that will require a higher English level, some openings that will require an intermediate level. So, but English is the way we communicate in the company because, I mean, if when I'm talking to Felipe, of course, we use Portuguese because we're from the same city with the same country. But my manager, for example, she's from Argentina. I don't speak Spanish. So English is the way we can communicate here in the company. But I mean, my English has improved a lot since I joined BairesDev, and BairesDev also offers English classes to its employees. So if you're insecure about your English level, I would say apply. Like if you're insecure about anything, apply. Don't eliminate yourself on the process before the time comes. Just move, just apply and leave the recruiting, like the whole hiring process to the recruiters. Like we are gonna try to find the best opening. We are going to try to match you. Don't worry if you think your skills are not that good. As I said, it might not be that good for that opening, but there might be another opening, even now or in the near future, that will suit your profile, and then we're going to contact you. That being said, I don't think we have any more time, guys, but I would like to thanks first like everyone who attended and Mechi who's on like behind the scenes here helping us gather questions on social media. And Feli, thank you so much for joining. I had a lot of fun talking to you here today, and it's always a pleasure sharing things with you.
Thanks for inviting me. I love
Amazing.
participating. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.